Okay guys, it's going to be short and dirty, no editing, so I'll have to shuffle without any editing, without speeding it up. Sorry, SOL, because otherwise I get so many comments. Oh my god, you lie, you cheat, you didn't shuffle. Oh, gotcha. And I'm so tired of petty souls like that. So Queen of Swords, I'm going to be Queen of Swords. I'm going to do it this way. Sorry for shuffling in front of you, but I simply want to see where we are heading. We have Four of Swords, we have Page of Pentacles. Let me zoom this in a little bit so you can see that better. There is a mystery card that we are going to reveal in the end. So it is Queen of Swords, it is Four of Swords, and I love the rendition in this particular deck. Ethereal Visions and Page of Pentacles. So Gemini, happy birthday. First and foremost, this is going to be a joyous period for you. Queen of Swords could represent you, and it could be that maybe you're cutting certain things from the past. Maybe you're kind of like feeling it's a time to go in a new direction. It is time to kind of like deal with different things. It is like time to... Four of Swords is also kind of a card where we kind of like put a pause button, and sort of like it's not very typical for you, especially during your birthday period, to say, you know, I don't want to talk to anyone. It's not really typical you. So something must really tick you off, or you might really think it is time to rebuild. It is time to look things in a different way, right? Because look at him in this particular deck. He is looking inside of himself. He is trying to figure out, first of all, where he wants to go, and second of all, how to get there. But he is realizing that he has to give his thanks about, you know, certain direction where he maybe was going, and maybe about something that has happened. When we get Page of Swords, and I really like it in this particular deck, it sounds like a beautiful young lady. It is like a messenger energy. It is a very young energy where it's something that we really need to conquer. Look at it. Did you see that? It was just moving on its own. So we do have spirit visitors over here, clearly. So what I'll be doing, I'll be taking my cat cards. Of course, it's a mandatory for the monthly reading to kind of like get a little bit more clarification on this one, so we can kind of like get a certain direction about that, because it's really telling me that there is like something new brewing. There is a new direction in which you really want to be more methodical, because as an air sign, you're like high flying, fun, everything is good. So for you to pull in and to say, you know, I kind of have to deal with things, and I really kind of like want to kind of like look deep inside of me. It's a meditation. You might become very spiritual, but that spirituality is going to give birth to pragmatism. And pragmatism literally is going to mean, well, this is how much money mean for me to actually have bills paid, and this is how much money I want to save. I'm going to allocate this much for travel per year, and this is like what I want for long-term savings. So it's going to be a very pragmatic direction, which is going to be taking me to the next level. Maybe, oops, look at that, I have my plate for cleaning the cards, so it is kind of like awesome. That was in here still. So this is a special Tesla plates, and it's really cleaning the cards from any kind of like shred of negative energies or negative spirits trying to come into our thing. And let's see what I see over here. So we see Earth Queen, she's reversed. Then we see Sea Tom, he is upright. That will be kind of like Knight of Cups, and this will be Queen of Pentacles. And then we have Cat Magic reversed, which would be the Magician reversed. Now, interestingly enough, guys, what I see over here, it's maybe a tug of war. It could be a competition with another woman, It could be a competition for whose reign is it. So you might have a rival. You might have somebody who is not necessarily anymore in this person's life, but who still has lots of pull. So it could be through kids, it could be through some kind of budgetary restriction, it could be that somebody needs to work really hard and extra hours in order to kind of like pay for child support or alimony, that sort of thing. Interestingly enough, there's going to be a flirty stage. Somebody might be coming on to you, and you are going to be not in the mood for love. This is really, really weird, because the sea tom is like that really light and cuddly energy, which kind of like many of us can really get engaged with. Maybe you're simply saying, look, enough is enough. I actually need more pragmatic solutions. Because you see, when the magician reverses, magician generally says, well, you know, you have all the tools to do everything. So magician reverse doesn't mean you don't have tools to do everything. It means you do have the tools, but you're looking for shortcuts, and sometimes, actually most of the times, the shortcut what magician reverse kind of like produces are not kind of shortcuts that we really need to get involved with. So, for example, that's going to be a salesperson who's going to tell you everything but the reasons why you really shouldn't buy it. They're not going to give you comparison with another product, and they're going to say whatever they need to say in order to make a sale, because it only matters his quota or her quota for that day. Tomorrow is another day, kind of a thing. So you really need to pay attention to that kind of a thing. It's going to be really, really important to kind of like really look into that. I want to get 3 more cards, because after all, it's a birthday time, and I know it's going to be a little bit shorter reading, and as I said, it's sort of like without any editing, and I hope you're not going to mind. Look at that. You have Knight of Swords and Knight of Cups, which is now repetition over here, and then you have Death. Now this is actually really not bad. So Queen of Swords and Knight of Swords, again, 2 women, 1 man. We see the situation. So it could be 2 potential suitors coming over, and it could be that maybe you need to cut through crap, and you need to kind of like figure out, okay, what is real, what is not real. You see, Knight of Swords has this quality kind of like to run with an idea, and you sort of like you keep resolving things as they come along. You don't have to necessarily the whole path in front of you. You don't really need to have it. You're just having a little segment, and that segment is all that really takes, all that you really, really want. But that card, when it comes here, it's actually a positive sign, especially when it comes to that cat magic reversed. Maybe you have been dealing with something that needs to come to an end. Maybe you don't want something to come to an end. Maybe you are freaking tired of some situation where somebody is giving you stories. Oh, no, she's not important to me, or he. This for the reading, for the general reading, this can mean he or she, I guess, right? And it could be because they're queens, especially if you're thinking about it's a male. It could be some sissy male, somebody who is like talking a bit big talk, but they're like this big. I mean, I don't mean down there, but hey, you can take it whatever you want, right? We are all adults here, right? That card means it's the end of something. So it can be end of doing certain things in a bad way. You're kind of like claiming something for you. It's almost like you woke up from a dream, and in the dream it was a nightmare, and goes, oh my goodness, that was not a dream. Actually, that was my life, and I don't want that for me. And how did I get here? How did I get here in my life when I really felt my life is going to be better? My life is going to be kind of like more full. So keep in mind that I do see some astrological signs here as well. I see water, I see air, and I see earth. Kind of like this could be like really strong influences. So kind of like needing to kind of like establish yourself is kind of like really indicated over here, but at the same time it could feel that maybe you don't have control of the finances, especially if you are with somebody who needs to kind of like give money to somebody else every single month. Could be debt or something. At the same time, it's going to be likable and lovable month. It's not going to be any shortage of suitors. You're going to be lovey-dovey, and it's all good. Now, when is the end? It's also beginning. I always see this card as the revolving door. And one thing finishes, another thing starts. So this in particular over here can also talk about possibly changing jobs or losing a job, which is going to be, oh my God, I lost my job. Don't fret. This means something new is happening, something new is brewing. There is like no more stagnation. This is supposed to happen, right? It's a transition to something else. So it is kind of like a needed change. And I really think it's really positive for you because you have already kind of like planted your seeds with this Page of Pentacles. And now like we are transforming into something else. So let's check the mystery card to seal the reading. Well, you have joy. Now, very much like Knight of Swords, kind of like this reminds me, except Knight of Swords minus fun, because Knight of Swords is not much fun. Unless you're Gemini, I guess you don't mind that kind of stuff because you like this kind of like a witty people, and maybe you even assign to them too much. Oh, well, you know, they're smart and everything, but just because they're smart and witty also could mean they can be harsh like that on some kind of like other levels, because what I'm talking about smart and witty, I'm talking about sarcasm. And sarcasm is all good when you like the person, when they like you. What if you do not like the person, or if they start to dislike you? Then it becomes a really razor. It becomes that sword, so keep that in mind. But this one is very encouraging, right? This is really talking about joyous phase in life, and I really think that somebody new is coming, or it's a new lovey-dovey phase that is coming with the same partner, that you're somehow able to put yourself above whatever else is happening, whether this is another person, another woman, another man, whether or not, you know, you are cutting any kind of like crap out of your life. Because this is just like this card is saying, significant change. It could be a move, it could be a new job. Actually, it can even predict marriage. So that's kind of like, you see, this is when you leap. 1, 2, 3, go, right? And that's the moment after you leap. That's kind of like how this really feels, right? And when you actually land on your feet. So it's a step you're already going, right? So you need to ask yourself this month, lots of people knocking on your door. Hey, you're pretty. Hey, babe, you wanna go out? Hey, blah, blah, blah. You might not be saying yes to everybody. You might even feel like buzz off everybody. I really need to kind of configure this month. This is my birthday month. I want it for me. Only air sign can think like that. All of the other people, they're putting their best attire on, prettiest, and they just like try to kind of like really work it. Not here. So have to make sure that you are dedicated to inviting happiness into your life. You know, how do you do that? This really talks about being present, right? That's a Zen. I know who I am. I'm present. Kind of a thing, right? Or, you know, like this new system. No, this is more or less a birth. It's about profoundly impacting lives. It's a very scorpionic energy that you have. It's a birth. You are birthing something, guys. Something really big is going to happen. Do you really want to be engaged in this, or you just want it to happen to you because you know you can make a difference? So there you go, my dear Gemini. I hope you have a wonderful month. Your comments are appreciated. If any of this resonated, that means you probably would be best to subscribe, because there was a reason for this. If you don't want to subscribe, thank you very much for traveling this path with me, and I wish you all the best in the future. So until the next time, all the best, and I love you.